Hi, good morning, and welcome to room 219. My name is Teresa Ferro, and I am your child's third grade teacher here at Tokenique Elementary School. We are located in room 219 on the second floor of Tokenique. I am sitting in our lovely classroom. I'm so glad to be here with you today, unfortunately virtually, but that seems to be the theme of 2020, right? So here we are. I am going to tell you a little bit about myself. I am 30 years old. I was born and raised in Stamford, Connecticut. I went to the Stamford Public Schools. I went to Manhattanville College where I earned a bachelor's degree in psychology, and then I earned a master's degree in early childhood education. I've previously taught in the Stamford Public Schools, so this is my first time here in Darien and here at Tokenique. I am one of 4 children. Family is very important to me, in which I've noticed that a lot of my students have siblings and have big families, which I love and I make a connection to because I am the youngest of 4, so I make a connection there. I am a mom. I have a 2.5-year-old little girl. Her name is Isabel. I am excited to be here. It's something new, and I'm just so happy that I can be a part of this learning experience with your child. So as you know, I'm filling in for Mrs. Smith, and I'm here in our classroom, and I just wanted to share with you. So as you see, our students sit at tables, and at the tables they have their math manipulatives, they have bins that have their folders, they have their notebooks, pencils, anything at their disposal so that they're not walking around having to get materials. Everything is at their tables for them and is theirs. So that was the most important thing this year, is to make sure that they have their materials and they're theirs and they're not up and walking around or changing anything. They stay at their seat, so that's a plus. Our tables do have the plexiglass on them to make sure that our children are socially distanced as much as possible and being separated at their tables. But they're still able to communicate with each other, which is something that I find important because they do need to communicate with their peers. Behind me, you can see that Miss Smith has a plethora of books, and I've noticed that your child loves to read. All of my students in here, I've noticed any downtime, they're picking up a book and they're reading, which is actually a great thing. We love to read. I love to read. They go through books so fast, though, that they're looking to change books like every other day. But that's okay because we have a plethora of them. So our books are labeled in bins by genre, author, series. So pretty much what they do is they browse the baskets one by one, let me know which basket they're interested in. I'll flip through the books and then they can pick books. We usually pick about 3 books. I did tell them they can choose books from home and bring them in as well, considering that we're not allowed to really have too many books from the classroom. So I said you can bring your own books from home. Behind me are our bulletin boards with foundations, our reading wall, writing. Math is over to the other side, it's kind of cut off. But here's where your students' work is going to go, and that's where you're going to be able to see what they're working on. And so far we're working on crafting our writing stories, so those aren't up yet. And we're adding words to our foundations wall as we go with lessons. So your child's work is up and it's around the classroom for everyone to see because they should be proud of the work that they do. We have our own sink in the classroom. We have our daily schedule up. I'm looking at the smart board, which you can see that they all are looking at while we do lessons throughout the day. So they are socially distanced as much as possible. They're doing a wonderful job adjusting to being in the classroom with each other, and I give them a huge pat on the back and double thumbs up for how well they are actually doing. So I just wanted to quickly, I can just kind of give a little tour. So each child, their tables are full. They have their bins, they have their manipulatives.
We have our sink over there. And then I have 5 tables. We have our back wall where all our work is going to go. And then, of course, my desk is over here. So our room is pretty big and spacious. There's definitely plenty of room for them to move around safely. We're not doing much moving around. We're doing it the best that we can. So I just wanted to introduce myself, show our classroom. I hope to one day be able to meet you and see you face to face, but as for now, we will keep it virtually. Thank you very much.
Hi, good morning, and welcome to our open house for the school year of 2020 to 2021. I'm Ms. Ferro, and I am your child's third grade teacher for this year here at Tokenique Elementary School. I'm so excited to be here at Tokenique. Third grade is a wonderful year, and it is going to be wonderful with so many exciting things to learn together. So please join me for this presentation to see the experiences and the expectations for this year. So here's the introduction. My name's Teresa Ferro. I am a third grade teacher here, filling in for Mrs. Smith. I graduated from Manhattanville College with a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in early childhood education. I've recently taught in the Stanford Public Schools, and I'm new here at the Darien Public Schools and here at Tokenique, and I'm so excited to be here. Here you could find my name, my email address, our school phone number with my extension, and the Darien Public School website, which has wonderful, wonderful things for you to find on there. So our philosophy is that the children will follow the Tokenique Kids Code. They know they are a part of safe, welcoming, and accepting classroom community. They become responsible, independent problem solvers, thinkers, and workers, and have high expectations of themselves and do their best and always have fun. And given their circumstances, I feel like they're adjusting well and they work hard and they take pride in their work. And I feel like although things are different this year, I feel like they're adjusting well and I feel like they're going to do great. So here's a day in the life of your third grader. This is our daily schedule, which changes depending on the letter day because our special times may change. So a typical day would be our morning meeting. We have foundations, readers workshop. We have math workshop part 1. Then we have our recess and lunch block. And then we have specials. And we have math workshop part 2. We have writers workshop and we have science. Here on the right, you could see that we have our day A, B, C, D, E, and F. We have art, PE, music, Spanish, and music. Our special times usually are from 12 to 12:45, with the exception of 3 days. One is at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, one is at 9:55 in the morning, and one is at 9 in the morning. So our special times change, which can alter our daily schedule a little bit, but this is pretty much what our schedule is daily. So Reader's Workshop. Well, what is Reader's Workshop? Reader's Workshop is individualized and student-centered. There's always a mini lesson, which is in whole group. Then this is direct instruction of the reading strategy. And then there's independent work. Students will read their Just Right books. They'll go off and do their reading logs. We've been working on comprehension. So they've been answering comprehension questions after a read aloud. For example, if I read a chapter or two to them, afterwards they ask themselves, who's in the book? What just happened? Is this new or is this reoccurring information? The students will then do also small group instruction where they have guided reading, skill groups, reading response, notebooks. And then they have their reading share, which reflects on the use of a reading strategy. So maybe those students who jotted down what they comprehended, they share with us. Or We had them do book recommendations on Flipgrid where they recorded themselves and they had a Flipgrid video where they recommended a book to their peers. It was a great thing. They loved it. They also did one where they read books like gold, which means read it with enthusiasm, be enthusiastic. So if you want to ask your child to read to you like a book is gold, do it because they do a great job doing it. So just write books. Well, those are books that can be read, thought about, reflected upon, discussed, and written about independently. So really what it sounds like. They're just right for you. It's not too hard, it's not too easy. Our read alouds are modeling thinking strategies for deep reading and discussion for literature. For example, we're reading a book called Stone Fox, and I'm reading it aloud to the students, and then we're having open discussions about it. We started off with our comprehension questions with the first 2 chapters, but as we go, we are going to have deep conversations about what's happening in the book, who are the characters, and not just saying it's a little boy. Well, his name is Little Willie. So just to really get them to comprehend what's going on. Reading partners. Students learn to have conversations about their reading with peers. So as socially distant and safe as possible, they do have reading partners. They do answer questions and ask each other questions. And they are able to do that within the classroom and outside the classroom as well. And their reading stamina, 30 minutes of sustained reading. So, at the end of a reading block, their independent reading, they get their just right book. And we've been building. First, it was read for 10 minutes, then do your log. Then it was read for 15 minutes, do your log. Then it's read for 20 minutes, and so forth. So our units of study include building a reading life, building comprehension, mystery book clubs, grasping main idea and text structure, studying characters across a series, nonfiction, informational text, and biography clubs, focused instruction on reading independence, inferring, interpreting, answering questions about reading, writing in response to reading. So right now we're doing on Unit 1, and we are building our reading life and building comprehension. So here's just a network of processing systems for reading, so thinking within the text. I included this wheel because as readers, these are the things that your child is thinking about as they're reading. So they are reading, they are summarizing the information, they are maintaining fluency, reading at a good rate with phrasing, pausing, notation, appropriate stress. So are they able to do this while they're reading? They're predicting. Yesterday we had a discussion about what was happening in the story, and 2 of the girls in here said, oh, we decided to ask each other, what do you think is going to happen next? So they're good at predicting, they're inferring, they're analyzing. So these are all things that they are doing as they are reading, and these are strategies to help them become better readers. Writer's Workshop. It's individualized and student-centered. Same thing as reading workshop. There's a mini lesson. It's whole group. It's direct instruction of a specific writing strategy. Then they have their independent work where students write, create meaningful, authentic writing. They work in skill groups. They conference with me. They conference with Ms. Derby, who's our para in the room. And then writing shares reflect on use of a writing strategy. So they might share what they wrote about. So we've been working on small moment stories, and now we've chosen which small moment we want to elaborate and write on. And now we are going through the process and the stages of writing. So we rehearsed. Now we're doing the draft, and we're taking it page by page, and we are writing the beginning of the story. Now what's happening next, and what happens after that, and what happens after that, and then concluding the story. So they're really breaking down parts of a story. Writing stamina, sustained writing, developing maturing skills of descriptive, detailed, and expressive writing. So really getting them to elaborate. So that's why I said we take those small moments now, and we're going to turn it into a bigger picture. Are you creating mental pictures for your reader? Are you using descriptive language? Are you using storytelling elements, dialogue? These are all things that we use when crafting our stories. So units of study include crafting true stories, informational writing, persuasive speeches and reviews, baby literary essays, nonfiction, informational, and fairy tale. So right now we are crafting true stories, and they're loving it. So foundations, I sent home a letter at the beginning of the new unit explaining what foundations is and what your child will be working on. It focuses on phonemic awareness, phonics word study, high frequency words, reading fluency, vocabulary, comprehension strategies, and spelling. So your child does have a notebook, a foundations notebook that they work in. So we usually have a mini lesson. It's usually about 20 minutes, 25 minutes long. It's usually in the beginning of the day. Sometimes depending on our schedule, it's at the end of the day. And we do a quick mini lesson up on the smart board, and then they go off in their notebooks and they complete the pages that correspond with what the lesson was. Math workshop. So fact fluency is key. Math and Focus program, which is what we're using, and then in conjunction with the IXL program, which most of you are familiar with from their hybrid model, they did a lot of IXL work. Concepts include number sense and operations, algebra and functions, measurement, geometry, data analysis, and probability. So we are concluding chapter 1, and they have been working hard on identifying numbers up till 10,000. We're working on rounding to the nearest 10 and to the nearest 100. So we have our mini lesson, which is a whole group lesson, and then they do their independent work, which is pages from their Math and Focus book. And then they will usually go off in their Chromebook and work on IXL, picking a skill. So for example, yesterday we worked on rounding numbers, and after they finished their pages, they went on to IXL and they worked on skills for rounding numbers to the nearest 10. Science. Science is designed to guide students to develop age-appropriate scientific knowledge and skills through the investigation of authentic problems in real-world settings. So it's student-centered learning, inquiry-based, and hands-on as much as possible. So we have 3 units. Unit 1 is forces and interactions. Unit 2 is weather and climate. And Unit 3 is living things and adaptations. So we are currently working on Unit 1. Your child has a digital science notebook, which was assigned to them when we were in the hybrid model. It is still assigned to them. They are still using it here in the classroom. That's why it is important to have your Chromebook with you daily. Make sure your Chromebook is charged because we use it. So as we go and do our science lessons, they will be filling out their digital notebook as we go. So Unit 1 is objects in contact exert forces on each other. Each force that acts on a particular object has both strength and direction. An object at rest typically has multiple forces acting on it, but they add to 0 net force on the object. So we are currently still in Unit 1. Social studies will be about Connecticut, the history of Darien, history of Connecticut, local and state government. Second Steps is an in-class social skills curriculum. Students build on their ability to pay attention, to listen, to ignore distractions. They learn how to respond to others with empathy, calm down, manage strong feelings, solve problems. The lessons are brought to you by life stories filled with situations your students encounter on a daily basis during the school year, from navigating friendships to taking tests. So we spend a lot of this time in our morning meeting. We have a morning meeting, we talk about, we greet each other, and then we go off and we talk about, we have a share, and most of the time we'll talk about situations. How do you handle a certain situation on the playground, or how can you handle pressure in the lunchroom or in the classroom? So we do a lot of this in our morning meeting, and then at our closing circle, we come back and we talk about, at the end of the day, well, how were you able to control your feelings today? Or what did you do to make sure you had a positive day? So we do a lot of this through our morning meetings as well. So for curriculum questions, the DarienPublicSchool.org website has a 3rd grade curriculum page, and it is very helpful. There are a lot of links. There's for math, reading, writing, foundations. All of it is there. It is all at your disposal, and it is very, very helpful. I find it helpful to go to these, even print it out so you can see lined up what we have and what we are going to be doing. If you have any questions, you could just ask me, but the website is very helpful. And I just want to say thank you for coming and for listening. I hope that this was as helpful as it could be, given that it's virtual. I look forward to hopefully meeting you someday. I look forward to um, a year with your children and helping them excel and become better readers, writers, math problem solvers, and just all around better students. I thank you. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Have a wonderful day.